Hi, I'm personal trainer YUJI.
Today, I would like to discuss the top 10 important factors for middle-aged individuals to build muscle. I believe there are various elements involved in building muscle. After gathering information, I found 10 factors, and while each of these is important, they all hold a similar level of significance. There is a bit of a priority here. Because we are middle-aged, we should prioritize this. There are things that might not need to be prioritized right now, and so on. So, I want to intentionally rank these factors, creating a ranking specifically for middle-aged individuals. Now, regarding the top 10 important factors for building muscle, the 10th place is aptitude. Aptitude is, of course, important and does have an influence. While it may seem that comparing oneself to others relates to aptitude, I believe that after living this long, one understands that comparing oneself to others is futile in every aspect. The real challenge lies within oneself regarding whether or not one can build muscle. Even if one has a body type that finds it difficult to gain muscle, what matters is the effort to increase muscle mass compared to one's current self. Therefore, it's important to recognize that having a body that struggles to gain muscle doesn't mean one is incapable. This is about aptitude. I think it's okay to leave it alone or even forget about it, so I will move on to the 9th point. The 9th factor is weight. Even though we are talking about muscle training, weight suddenly comes into play. Of course, since this is muscle training, you need to apply weight for it to be effective. Otherwise, muscle development won't occur. However, the top 10 factors I am introducing today also carry a warning. If you place too much emphasis on this, it can be dangerous, and if you underestimate it, that is not good either. I see. This is particularly relevant for middle-aged individuals. When it comes to weight, if one focuses solely on that, it can be dangerous. The danger lies in the fact that if the weight is too heavy, you might only be able to lift half of it, resulting in no real progress. You won't build muscle. If the weight is too heavy, even basic exercises like side lunges won't be effective. Therefore, it's not necessary to be overly fixated on weight. Additionally, if you pursue only weight with unnatural movements, it can lead to injuries, especially at this age, so there's no need to be too concerned about weight. I think it's better to work with an appropriate weight that isn't too heavy. Now, regarding the 8th point, it's about the number of reps and sets. This refers to the volume. This is also, of course, an important factor in strength training alongside weight. However, as I always say, when it comes to reps, if you set a strict rule that one set must be 10 reps, it can become problematic. If you can't lift even 7 reps, but you insist on doing 10 and end up using your back improperly, that becomes a waste. You can lighten the weight from earlier and then choose a weight that allows you to perform 10 proper reps. There's no need to insist on a specific number of reps to the point of compromising your form. Regarding sets, while it's beneficial to have a certain number for building muscle, focusing solely on quantity without maintaining proper form can lead to excessive strain and increase the risk of injury. Therefore, I want to emphasize the importance of quality over quantity, which is why I placed quantity later in the discussion. The 7th point is about the importance of exercises. While there are certainly key exercises in strength training, it is not necessary to engage in a wide variety of exercises. The implication is that some exercises may not be needed right now. Given that it can be quite challenging for middle-aged individuals to build muscle, it is more important to focus on enhancing the precision of basic exercises rather than trying out many different ones. For example, using a triangular bandage, we can revisit the raise and shoulder press. These two exercises are very basic and well known. By properly enhancing their quality, one can achieve significant results. Personally, I mostly focus on just these two. There's no need to do more complex exercises like face pulls with cables, which are often seen in competitors at higher level competitions. For the chest, performing dumbbell presses or bench presses on a flat or inclined bench is sufficient. With just these two exercises, you can effectively work the chest muscles by about 80%. I reflect on this. However, cable flies are quite difficult. So, it is more important to focus on improving the quality of basic exercises, like the dumbbell press, rather than incorporating such challenging movements. Therefore, it is crucial to enhance the precision at a basic level without trying various types. This is what matters. Now, for the 6th point, this relates to having a good training form, which involves the weight, reps, and exercises discussed earlier. It is very important for middle-aged individuals to pay attention to their training form. Therefore, it is necessary to focus not just on weight, but also on maintaining a proper form that effectively targets the biceps. This includes considering speed as well. It is essential to perform exercises without using cheating techniques that could compromise the form, as this helps to maintain the weight and seek efficiency. If the form is poor, there is a higher risk of injury. Thus, the focus should be on the training form rather than just the current weight, reps, and exercises. It is important to enhance the quality of those basic exercises by placing emphasis on them. This approach makes it easier to build muscle without injury, so I hope you pay considerable attention to your training form. I mentioned the sixth factor, but there are indeed more factors beyond just the number of reps and sets. There are still the top 5 factors remaining. Now, regarding the fifth factor among the top 5, frequency is important. The frequency of training relates to the weight, number of reps, and exercises performed. It's quite significant to train frequently rather than just focusing on form. Essentially, to effectively build muscle, I believe training twice a week is sufficient. You can train the whole body twice a week, or you can split it so that one area is trained twice a week. If you can train 4 times a week, you can alternate like an abab pattern to ensure each area is worked twice a week. I think that if you only do this properly once a week and do nothing for the remaining 6 days, it feels like you're just sitting during your commute. The time and days when the muscles aren't engaged are too long, causing them to loosen too much. So when I try to work out again after 6 days, I find that there's not much improvement. Therefore, I believe there should be a pattern of at least doing full body workouts twice a week. If it's difficult to find more time than that, even just 3 to 5 minutes of exercise in between would be good. It's about doing exercises like push-ups at home or in a room. I want to incorporate activities that really engage the muscles and develop a habit of putting effort into them rather than just living a relaxed lifestyle. The frequency of these activities is extremely important for the middle-aged body, as it helps prevent long periods of inactivity. By doing this, you can progress in your next training sessions, so it's essential to move your body regularly. This becomes crucial. And now, the fourth point. However, it's about sleep. Of course, sleep is important. It's a given, but even player Otani emphasizes the importance of sleep above all else. He mentioned that he sleeps right up until just before practice. Unfortunately, many middle-aged individuals often lack sufficient sleep. This is a crucial point. Conversely, one might ask if they are living a lifestyle that doesn't prioritize this aspect. Of course, by ensuring proper sleep, the body that engages in muscle training can recover. Sleep is crucial for this, as getting proper sleep helps improve hormone levels. However, since building new muscle depends on this, it means that without sufficient sleep, progress cannot be made. If you are sleep deprived, even with the same amount of training, muscle will not develop at all, or it may even shrink. It's quite conceivable that one could lose muscle during a cultural festival, so I believe it's important to ensure a decent amount of sleep. The third point is breathing. Well, I feel that training form is also part of this, but there are many people who really struggle with their breathing. This is simply because their abdominal muscles are weak, and there are many people with weak abs. Because their abs are weak, they can't stabilize when lifting shoulder balance, leading to a lack of stability. For now, they are trying to stabilize by using their throat. Here, when breathing becomes monotonous and I endure while lowering, it's because I can't help but endure with my chest. Even when doing back exercises, the body doesn't rise because I'm not really tightening my core. I want to exhale while loosening my throat, but I can't seem to tighten this area. When it comes to the effects of strength training, if the quality does not improve as mentioned earlier, it won't be effective. Therefore, it is essential to exhale when the muscle contracts and inhale when the muscle stretches. This concept of muscle contraction and lung contraction, as well as the expansion of the lungs when the muscle stretches, should be unified in your mind. Always remember to exhale during contraction and inhale during stretching. For example, when working on the back, exhale during contraction and inhale during stretching. The idea is to have one image for one movement, and I want the beginning and end to happen at exactly the same timing. This breathing is quite important, so to improve the quality of training that I mentioned earlier, it's essential to maintain this. Now, moving on to the second point. The second point is posture flexibility. Generally speaking, weight and reps are important, but for middle-aged individuals, if posture flexibility is not properly maintained, it can hinder progress. It really does get in the way. When the posture is like this, it becomes rigid, and even when doing shoulder presses, the weight doesn't go up properly. If this posture remains fixed, Even when performing dumbbell presses, the form will inevitably suffer. However, if flexibility and posture are correct, one can maintain a strong chest position while doing dumbbell presses, and shoulder presses can be lifted straight up. If the hips are tight, it becomes impossible to achieve the correct position for the exercise. The back tends to round, doesn't it? This is important. If you have flexibility, you can perform exercises that involve stretching and arching your back correctly, such as squats. Therefore, it is essential not to neglect posture and flexibility. Always maintain a correct posture in your daily life and regularly stretch to develop important qualities. I hope you focus on improving the quality of your training form. In this case, regarding the top 10 factors, it is particularly important for middle-aged individuals. There are some areas that have been a bit neglected or are not being done. The areas that are not being done are now being brought to the forefront. Yes, and while continuing is the most important factor for building muscle, this is not just specific to middle-aged individuals, it applies to everyone. If you stop at an appropriate point regarding the effects of strength training and building muscle, then that's it. You really have to keep going. Moreover, it's essential to continue consistently. For example, doing it for a month and then taking a 3-week break is not effective. It's not about being different, it's about maintaining consistency over time. To achieve this, avoiding injuries from weight is one aspect, as is using the correct training form to prevent injuries. Additionally, I want to ensure that I don't skip workouts just because I'm feeling sluggish today. It's essential to keep going consistently. This consistency is the most important factor in effectively building muscle, so I believe it's all about steadily continuing the effort. Supporting this consistency is what I mentioned earlier. So, while continuing to properly arrange this area, I hope you can effectively change your body. Now, in the current ranking, did you notice any areas where you feel you are not doing well? If so, please make sure to correct those points. Let's do our best. Please subscribe to the channel and follow us on Instagram. This was Trainer Yuji.